Hi, everybody. Welcome, welcome. Sorry, I'm a little bit late. Why is my camera not working? Just trying to get my camera to work. Give me a second. Can you guys hear me, first of all? First question. Oh, we got tons of people coming. Admit all. Admit. Hey, Tammy, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, awesome. My camera doesn't work. Give me a second. I know. I'm
Oh.
trying to get my camera to work. Give me a second. I don't know why my camera doesn't work sometimes. Let's see if it works now. Welcome, everybody.
It doesn't
Bear
work.
with me. Yeah, bear with me while I'm trying to get my camera to work here. Not sure why it's not working. Let's see. Here we go. Should be good now. I have to change my name because my name is like
Yes.
Xavier. My name is Ben. So let me do that real fast. Here we go. All right. I think we're all set. Okay, a good crowd today. Can everybody hear me clearly? You can just chat or you can talk. It's very organic, these conversations. So feel free to interrupt, feel free to chat with us. You can use the Zoom chat if you want. Okay, welcome, welcome. And I know, here we go. Let's make sure that this all works fine. Okay, we're all set. So, well, welcome to the Beginners Coffee Chat, Koala Beginners Coffee Chat. And my name is Ben. I'm one of the founders of Koala, also known as the tech guy. And today, tech guy, I'll be probably working with you a lot, figuring out what's wrong with your classroom, helping your students, whatever it is. I do that most of my day. And today we also have Tammy. It's with us, and she is going to help me with answering questions and making sure that I don't go off on sidetracked and say things that are not relevant to you guys. So yeah, so today, again, like I was, welcome Tara, welcome everybody. And we have people joining in right now. So today we're gonna essentially assume, or I'm gonna assume that you know absolutely nothing about koala.
Good.
And the goal is to take you from essentially, you know, never even having seen koala ever to being able to teach with it. That's the goal. Now, I know that some of you might be at different stages in your koala journey. So feel free to interrupt me with like specific questions or specific needs that you might have for your own purposes. And we can dive into that and figure it out. Okay, and who here, well, first of all, maybe you can just write in the chat, who here has used Koala in the past already, at least once? You can just say, I did in the chat if you want, or you can say it out loud, whatever you want. I just want to get an idea of, okay, Rosemary, I've used a lot, but I'm not very good. Okay, awesome. Chris is brand new. That's great. Just got to start somewhere. Aaron hasn't. Okay. Anybody else? Oh, Julie's new. Awesome, Julie. And I've used it beside lots of questions. Okay, awesome. Yeah. Well, you came to the right place, Mary. I'm excited to answer the questions. Brand new, just heard about it after the tutoring summit. Okay, cool. Yeah, so you might have seen this very awkward video of Xavier and I saying hi to the whole tutoring summit. Okay. And then we have somebody who just joined. Cool. All right. I guess we can get started then. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen, and you should be able to see it in a second. Give me 1 second. Okay, and let's share my screen over here. Okay, share. Can you guys see my screen? And is it mirrored?
No, it's submerged and it's fine.
Okay, great, awesome. All right, so the first place I'd like to take you to and like sort of show you is our website, teachwithkoala.com. And our website, we have a few valuable resources that I think is worth mentioning. The first one is the how-to video section in the top right. I don't know if any of you has seen this one. If you click on this, you'll see tons of little videos. They're between like a minute and maybe a couple minutes long. And the idea is that they answer to very specific questions that you might have about koala. So if you like video format, this is a place to be. We add videos all the time. We have more coming, and we try to keep them up to date as much as possible. Some might be slightly outdated, but they're still relevant. So check it out. That's the first thing I think you should take a look at. So again, how-to videos at the top right over here. The second thing is if you scroll down, so of course we have the main button over here that says Open Koala Go, and Koala Go is going to be your virtual classroom. So we'll get into that in a second. But if you scroll down a little bit, you will see a section called Koala Go User Guide. And the reason why I like to mention this during the beginner's coffee chat is because one, of course, it gives you a written manual for you as a teacher, that shows you the different components and the requirements, et cetera, et cetera. It should be kind of user-friendly and hopefully easy to navigate. And we try to update this as regularly as possible. So if something is not relevant, just come back a little later and it will be. So that's the first thing. But I think most importantly, we have a user guide for the parent or the student, and we have it in different languages. You can see here, we have English, Chinese, etc., Vietnamese, and we're adding new languages. But what's awesome about this, the student manual, I think, is that it doesn't dive into the features because it's not that important. They'll discover it during your class. That's okay. It's really helping the parents to get started, like what material do they need, like what kind of hardware, what kind of connection, what are the system requirements. So, if you're on a PC, you're going to use Chrome. If you're on an iPad, use Safari, et cetera, et cetera. And this will be translated in their language, of course, if you pick the right language. And then most importantly, it gives them steps for how to join your classroom. So like there's 3 steps and that's it. So I would definitely recommend you send this to them if you can. I know not all parents have time to read, but this is really 4 slides. If there's anything to remember, it's probably this slide. This slide is the most important one. So you can almost like screenshot this and send it to them. Again, you can also pick the Chinese version if you prefer. It'll download it to your computer. You can open the Chinese version and go to slide 4 and just take a screenshot of that and send it to them if you want. That's really the most important thing. Cool. Any questions so far? Feel free to interrupt with any question you might have. Again, in order to find that section, I went to teachwithkoala.com. I scrolled down for a little while, and then I saw the section Koala Go User Guide.
I have a question.
Yes, please.
When it comes to the parents, being able to connect with you and sign up for the classes, and, I'm like creating a digital business card for my online teaching business,
Yep.
and I'm supposed to, and I want to put a link in there. So when we sign up, do we get a link that we can actually put in there? So if they want to
Absolutely.
sign up for classes, they can just click that link.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
go right there.
That's
Okay.
exactly correct. I'm going to show this
Okay.
in a little bit, in a couple minutes.
Okay. Awesome.
That's it. That's exactly right.
Awesome.
Thank you for the question. Any other questions? Nope. Let's jump right in then. So I'm going to click Open Koala Go. Again, Koala Go is the virtual classroom. So I'm going to click on this. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to sign out because I want to show you the full experience from literally 0. Here we go. So this is what you'll see the first time you go into Koala, or you click on Koala Go. And I would recommend you bookmark actually this particular website, because every time you go back later after you're signed in, it'll just be in your classroom. So it'll be easy to access if you bookmark it. Okay, so signing in. Unlike other websites, you don't need to create an account first before you can actually sign in to Koala. Whether you do have an account or you don't, the process is exactly the same. If you have a Google account, like a Gmail, just click on continue with Google and you're in. That's it. If you don't, or you don't want to connect with Google, you can just type your email here. Again, it doesn't matter whether you do or don't have an account. It's the same process. Click continue, go to your inbox. So I'm going to click on my, and I can go to my inbox on my phone. I don't have to go on my computer because what I get is a code that I have to type. So here I'm going to copy it, but you can also type it character by character. Click submit, and that's it. You're in your classroom. That's the 1-2 steps, the only 1 or 2 steps that you have to do to connect to your classroom. Now, once you're connected, once you've signed in, like I just did, you won't have to do it again unless you don't use Koala for like a certain amount of time, maybe like 2 weeks or something. Other than that, every time you come back, you'll be projected straight into your classroom. Any questions so far? And Temi, feel free to interrupt me if there's questions in the chat. I don't see the chat, just so you know. All right, well, here we are in the Koala culture. This is my little classroom I've been playing around. I was creating a little slide for to announce a new update that we just released. But what you'll typically see is probably something closer to this. First time, welcome to Koala or something like that. I forget what the default whiteboard looks like, but something like that maybe. And it might have instructions for how to get started. I forget. But in any case, what you're seeing when you first go into your classroom is the whiteboard component of Koala. So you'll always land on the whiteboard. And how do I know it's a whiteboard? But first, I'm able to put text. I can draw. I can erase my drawing. I can put sticky notes. I mean, you can put images, PDFs, PowerPoints, et cetera, et cetera. So you always, every time you go to your classroom, you'll always land on the whiteboard part of your classroom. Now, there's other parts to your classroom. There's not just other tools available for you. There's the whiteboard. We also have a co-browser. So some of you might be familiar with it. Some of you might not. This is a very powerful tool in your toolbox, and I'll show it in a little bit. The other tool that you have is Playground. And some of you have heard of Playground, I'm sure. And I will show this today as well. So you really have 3 tools. You have the whiteboard, you have the co-browser, and you have the Playground. Okay, so, and whiteboard is what you see when you first go into your classroom. And if you want to go to co-browser, you're going to click down here. If you want to go to Playground, you're going to click down here. I'll show all this in a second. So far, any questions before I continue? Okay, so before we dive into any of the tools that are available to you, I think it's relevant to start by inviting a student.
Ben,
Oh, yeah.
can I interrupt for a
Yes,
second?
absolutely, you can.
I've lost your screen. I just see you. So how do I get back into your screen?
You guys don't see my screen? Tammy?
Yeah, I see it.
Okay.
I think
I've clicked something wrong and
No
now
I
worries.
see it.
Let me see if I can do stop share and then share again. And maybe that'll bring it back up. Give me a second. Share. Okay, how about now?
I'm back. Thank you.
Nice. Okay, nice. Good to know that I can do that actually.
Thank you.
Okay, absolutely. Okay. Any other questions? Can anybody see? Okay, great. So like I said, before we dive into any of the tools, I'd love to show you how to invite a student because this is probably one of the most important things. If you can't invite a student, you can't teach. So I'm going to have you guess, what should I do at this point to invite a student? Let's say I'm a complete newbie. I don't know how to use Koala. How would you guide me to invite a student? And just a tip, little tip. It does not require to be a Koala expert to figure that out, hopefully.
Just click invite student.
Yes, that's a very good guess. So let's do that. I'm gonna just shut off my camera on Zoom because I can't have 2 programs using my camera at the same time. Sorry about that. And if I click invite student, let's see what happens. So the first thing that I see is the screen kind of goes blackish a little dark. And I see this little window that pops up. And I think this answers one of the questions I had earlier. I think it was, I forget who asked, sorry. But this is going to be the link to for your students to join your classroom. So students are going to click this link or open it on their iPad, on their computer, on their whatever, Chromebook, whatever they use to join your classroom. Okay, so you could put this in your business card if you want. You can, if this is too long, you can also, I don't know if you're familiar with this, but you can copy this and you can make it into like a QR code or a shorter link. I don't know if you ever heard about that. But if you, yeah, so, you know, you can go to Google and say a link to QR code, and then don't click on any of the sponsored ones. Maybe this one is great. And you can like literally copy your link, go to this website called qrcodegenerator.com, type your link, and voila, you have a QR code that you can print. You can just copy this and then put it straight into your business card if you want. As a matter of fact, they sell business cards, it looks like, which is a pretty smart business. Okay, any questions on the link here?
I have a question.
Yep.
Otherwise, we can't, besides like converting it into a QR code, which I
Mhm.
understood, we can't mess with the text and like change like porcupine to the my last name or anything, right?
I mean, you can just have to ask me. I'll do it for you.
Oh.
Maybe
Sure.
this is a favor for all the people that are here today. Feel
Okay.
free to. Okay, so if you want to request anything, let me close this window first. And by the way, if you close it and you don't see the invite student button anymore, just click on this button over here, the little silhouette with the plus, and it'll bring you back up. Okay, so silhouette with the plus brings your link back up. Okay, if you want to request things, such as I would like to change the name of my classroom, you can just click on the 24/7 live help support. And if there's anything to remember from today, it's that. You don't really, anything else, you'll figure it out. This is the most important thing we offer. I think this is pretty, it's pretty rare in the industry. We offer 24/7 help support, you know, rain or shine. If it rains too much, maybe not. No, just kidding. No, we're available all the time. And the only days that we're not available are US holidays. So there's like 11 days throughout the year while we're not available. Otherwise, it's either me or Tammy, or we have 3 other people that'll come and help you out, such as Fred here. So I can say, hi, Fred, or hi, I need help. You can use this for if you need help with a student, if you need help figuring out a specific feature, if you have problems, whatever it is, we'll be very happy to help you. Sometimes, if you're okay with that, we can also hop into your classroom and just guide you there and help you there directly. See if Fred is already answering. So I'm going to say thank you for being super great. And I'm done here, so I'm going to close the help chat. But if you want to request a change of address for your link, feel free to ask in the chat, and I can do that for you. It's not very complicated. Just make sure that if you already shared the previous link with some students, you'll have to share it again. That's the only caveat. Any other questions?
I have another question.
Yeah.
Which is sort of related, sort of not. Do you guys help with scheduling, or do we need to use like Calendly or Tutorbird or some other program for that?
We're actually working on a scheduling system. Maybe Tammy can answer this one. There is a solution right now, but okay, Tammy, can you answer this?
Well, we don't have a scheduling system at the moment.
Yep.
But we are working on one. So I have many classes. I'm not sure if you have the same students at the same times every week, Chris? Or do
Well,
you
actually, I'm just
change?
getting started. I haven't even launched my business yet, so.
Okay. So what I usually do is I use an Excel spreadsheet, and my students know when to come to class, and I send a reminder to them the day before as well. And I find that the students, they know when their classes are. Their parents are quite strict with it. So if I enter my class at 1 p.m., they will always be there. It's very seldom that they don't pitch.
Yeah.
Unless you have different students booking different times daily or randomly, then it becomes a little difficult. But other than that, I found that that way works perfectly for me.
Okay.
But
So you don't,
I'm sorry, go
so do
ahead.
you use one of those other programs out there, like the Calendly or Tutorbird or any of that stuff? For
Yeah,
that, you
I
just
do.
have your
And then
spreadsheet?
you get used to your students' times and you remember them. So
Mhm.
eventually you don't need any of that.
Oh, okay. Okay. Thank you.
But
No
we're
problem.
working on a scheduling system
Yes, we are.
so that Koala takes care of the reminder emails and everything else. Cool. Any other questions? Nope. All right. So you can see that I'm actually seeing myself on the left side. I have my little camera that's on, and I can even have controls over my microphone, my camera. And in this section, I can change if I have different cameras, I can change the camera, I can change my microphone, et cetera, et cetera. You might have noticed a difference between this mode where I see myself and I don't see the invite student button, and this mode where I see the invite student, but I don't see myself. In this mode where I see the invite student and I don't see myself, it's like a private mode, meaning that if you were like in a physical classroom, it's the equivalent of closing the door and putting a non-disturb sign on the door. So nobody's going to knock and everybody's going to leave you alone. This mode is very helpful for if you want to like just create material or even discover Koala and you don't necessarily want students to request to join your classroom, right? As soon as you're ready to accept students, you're going to open the door of your classroom essentially, and that's equivalent to clicking on invite student. So when you click on invite student, I see myself, and that's when I know that students can request to join.
Ben, how did you close that door? What did you do?
If you close the door, closing the door, just refresh the page and you're
refresh.
back into private mode.
Okay. Now, I wanted, what I want to know is when you can make it so you don't see the classroom, so you see just yourself and the other student. Isn't that?
You mean the cameras?
Yeah, the cameras. Wasn't
Yeah,
that
so-
that little square there?
That's going to be this button here, the full screen button. Now
Okay.
you're seeing me full screen. But
Now,
if there was a student, yeah, go ahead.
now, when I did that, when
Mhm.
I had a student in the room, it was half and half.
Yep.
Which of course, but is there any way to make it only me? Because I wanted to switch to my document camera.
Mhm.
So when I switched to my document camera, it only took up half the page, which made
Yep.
it difficult to.
But the best way to do this is if you're on the whiteboard like this
Uh-huh.
and you click on your camera, it'll plop onto the whiteboard. And then what you can do is just like a sticky note, for example, as you can scale, you can make your camera, your document camera as big as you want. On top of that, what's awesome about this is that you can have the student write on top of it.
Uh-huh. Wonderful.
So,
So
if
you did that by clicking on your.
yeah. So
camera.
notice that when I hover over my camera, there's the cursor turns into a hand,
Uh-huh. Okay.
sort of indicating that you can click on or
great.
drag it onto the board.
Well, thank you. And now
Absolutely.
I'm the one that was not very good. Now I'm a little.
No.
Now I'm a little better.
It's all good. It's all good. Yeah. And yeah, and you can obviously do that with your student's camera, of course, as well. Any questions on this one?
Not on this one, but Tara has a question. Is this also a system you can record in, like with Zoom?
We're working on that. So right now, everybody that uses Koala kind of uses like, if you use on Windows, you can use the Windows recording. On Mac, you can use the Mac recording. But we're working on a system to record directly in Koala because we have a lot of demand for that. So it'll be available soon. Absolutely. If you need help with, in the meantime, figuring out how to record on your Mac or your Windows for free, by the way, we can also help you with that. Do you use a Mac or a Windows computer?
Sorry, I use a Mac, so yeah, that would be interesting for me because I do have Zoom, but I'd rather not have so many things I'm paying for.
Of course, yeah, no, yeah. There's a way to record for free on Mac. And you can just reach out to us through 24/7 and we can show you how to do that.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I'm not on a Mac right now, so I can't show it, but somebody can probably help you. Okay. All right, so now, great. I see myself. I don't have students yet. What's next? So let's pretend that I copied my link over here. Sorry. I copied my link and I went ahead and sent it to my student through email or calendar, or maybe they have my business card and they scan my QR code. I don't know. Many ways to get the link. So in order to simulate what the student would do and see, I'm going to open an incognito window on Google Chrome. If you're not familiar with what an incognito window is, it's essentially a window that allows you to simulate another computer, like as if there was no history in your Chrome. So like this is very convenient for you want to log into a website and you don't necessarily want to use the account that you have on your normal Chrome. You can use incognito. Again, it sort of pretends it's another computer, a different computer. So this is perfect for my use case because I'm going to show what it looks like when a student joins. So again, student copies the link or clicks on the link and it gets open in their browser, just like this. So right side is going to be student and left side is going to be teacher view. Okay. So here you have the student. You can see this is the waiting lobby that the student gets greeted with when they click on your link. On the right side, they have the ability to configure their microphone, the webcam, their speaker, so they can make sure that works fine. And on the left side, they are prompted with telling you, the teacher, what their name is. And this doesn't have to be the real name. It can be any name they want. We don't care about, like, you notice that they never had to sign in. We don't collect any information about students. We just need a name that you will recognize as a teacher. That's all we need. So for example, I'm going to put student and I'm going to click ask to join. And you're not hearing this, but I hear a little notification bell that says, doo-doo. And I see a little notification that says Ben student would like to join. At this point, I have three options. I can either accept them, which is pretty self-explanatory, hopefully. I can reject their request completely by clicking on the X. This would be useful, for example, if I have a student that's trying to join my room and it's not time at all, like it's tomorrow or something, or it's later, or maybe it's something somebody I don't even recognize. Just cancel the request. So that's going to be that little X at the bottom right, or the top right, I mean. There's a third situation where, for example, you might have a student in 5 minutes and you're finishing with the previous student, but the student in 5 minutes is already asking to join. You don't necessarily want to cancel the request because you do want to accept them at some point, but you're not ready just yet. In which case, you're going to click on the hide button, so which hides the notification as you saw. It stashes it away on the side. Finish with the student, the previous student. So blah, 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 I don't know, drawing, doing whatever you're doing, and then hover over the notification to bring it back up. Hide. Finish what you're doing with the previous student. When you're ready, hover and click accept. Okay. Any questions on this before I click accept? This is a pretty important part, I guess. So feel free if you have any question. There's no silly question here.
What are these students doing with those little?
Oh yeah, okay.
fruits?
So while you're making a decision here as a teacher, on the student side, there's a little game that they can play. They're just collecting fruits and apples and broccoli, all healthy stuff, promise. And it will collect in that, like as they discover new fruits and new foods, it'll collect in here. They make points. I mean, it's a really gimmicky game. The idea is to keep them engaged with the device, and so they don't go and run off, and you don't see them when you click accept. They're not there. It's like, what? No, they're going to be there because they're probably going to be playing this little game. And we change it up once in a while. Sometimes it's animals, sometimes it's fruits and veggies, and I'm sure it'll be something else soon. So harmless little game that keeps their attention while you're finishing up whatever you're finishing up. Any questions on that? So when you click accept, it'll take him straight into the classroom. Now, on the student side, I see myself as the student, of course, but I see the teacher as well. And on the teacher side, I'm prompted with this little window, which asks me to select a profile for my student. And if you're familiar with how like Netflix works, with like sometimes Netflix will ask you to select a profile. This is the same idea where if it's a new student that's never been with you, you just click new profile and you're done. If it's a student that you've had in the past, you will see them in that list, likely at the top. So here I see Ben's student at the top. So I just click select and I'm done. So this is just a way for Koala to, this is Koala asking you just to help identify them so we don't confuse them with a different profile. That's all it is. And is this clear for everybody? The whole profile thing?
And I guess you're going to show us what's in the profile.
But right now in the profile, it's only the number of gems that you've given them throughout the class. But we're going to be adding the avatar as well in the profile.
Okay, and these gems, I guess you're going to explain more. I don't want to.
Absolutely.
But all I
Absolutely.
know is I get some every month, but I don't know what to do with
Yeah, I'll show you how that works. Any other questions on this? Hopefully this is clear for everybody. There's no silly questions. So if it's not clear for you, like I'm happy to re-explain this. It's not a problem. Okay. One thing I didn't show is, and I don't usually show, but I think it's worth showing, is that there is a chat. And this is not the help chat. The help chat is on the right side. This is a chat to chat with the people in your classroom, the students in your classroom. So, you know, kind of like Zoom, hello, they see the chat and they can chat back, hello. Notice that as a teacher, I'm the only one who can open the chat, right? It's just the teacher that can open the chat. So this is in order to not distract the student. Okay, so because like students will like chat in the chat, otherwise, well, you don't want them to do so. You can resize the chat box by dragging this blue bar at the top. Another thing that we have is translations. So if you turn on translations, this means that if my student is in China, for example, and I speak in English, say, hello, my name is Ben. They will see, sorry, my student is not in China right now, they're in the US, but they will see what I said in English, and right underneath that, it'll be translated in their language. We can actually test this by just having me say something in French. For example, let's say your student is French. They say, notice that it shows me, well, what they said. I don't know if it's too small or not. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. What they said, and at the bottom, it translates in my language, which is English. Okay, so I think very convenient feature, especially like when you're getting started with parents and they don't speak English very well. Use the chat. Chat is very nice. Any questions on that? Nope. Okay, I'm just going to minimize the chat a little bit. Here we go. Okay, so let's dive into the tools now, finally. Now we have the student in the room, great, and we can get started. So first tool, like I said, is the whiteboard. And the whiteboard is essentially a giant canvas where you can draw anything. You can put any type of text. You can put sticky notes. So sticky notes are colored boxes where you can type text in it, of course. And the text will resize to fit the box as much as possible. So if I have a single letter, for example, it'll be a really big letter that fits the box really well. If I have a word, the font size will be smaller, but the word will occupy as much as possible in the box, as much space as possible in the box. I can change the color of the sticky note by clicking on the sticky note, and on the menu on the left, I have a little color wheel. And I can change it to red, to green, whatever I want. So sticky notes are often used for letter tiles, for word cards. So like people will build blending drills and things like that with them. And we have a lot of tools to help you build those. So we can help that, we can show that. We also have a free-forming text system. It's called text box. It's going to be this button over here. And you're going to look on my left side, of course. So this button with the A, you click anywhere, type your text. And the text this time doesn't resize to fit the box. It's the box that resizes to fit the text. So it's a little bit more like the classic PowerPoint text box that you might be used to. So if I can also make it wider or narrower. I can change the color. And I can also make the text smaller just by resizing the side like that. Okay.
Could you show again how you got to the typing part without a sticky note?
Sure. Yeah. So you can just do multiple ways. You can just create a new text box by clicking on, first click on the A. Now notice my cursor is changed into like this typing cursor. I think it's called the caret. I'm not sure. And then I can click anywhere. And it creates this text box where I can type text.
Okay.
If I already have a text box, I can just double click on it to edit it.
Okay, thanks.
Another way to do it is, sorry, just double click on it and it will allow you to edit it. Okay. And then I can also put images on here or documents. So I can just click on upload files, select. So that's the button at the bottom left here. Select documents from my computer. I think I have, let's see, what do I have here? Not this one. Sorry, give me a second. Oh, should have prepared this. I never prepare this and it's always a little silly. I think I have an image that was interesting. Let's see. Well, I have my cat. So let's bring my cat in there. Coco. So I'll click open. Now it gives me the option to add as an image or add as slides. Let's start with add as an image. When I click add as an image, it just plops it right into my whiteboard, just like that. And I can make it bigger or smaller. I can put it anywhere I want. It supports this, this supports like transparent images, non-transparent images, whatever. It'll work great. But now let's say I have something more interesting, like for example, a PDF maybe. I think I have one. Sorry, keep making the same mistake. In my documents, let me make sure I have one somewhere. 3D artist job description. Well, I have this one. Let's try this one. I'm gonna click open, and it converts. And now I have this PDF here. Now I'm gonna not add as an image. If I add as an image, it's gonna add my PDF pages as images on my current whiteboard. If I add a slide instead, it will add it. Notice that before I only had 2 slides. It said like 2 out of 2. Now I have 4 slides. That's because it added each page of my PDF as its own slide on my whiteboard. Now I can see all my slides on my whiteboard by clicking over here. And now I see all the slides. So I had this one and the one with my cat. This is the first page of the PDF, and this is the second page, which is just empty. And I can just actually switch to any one I want just by clicking on it, click open. Again, that little mosaic button at the top is where you're going to see all your slides. It's a little bit like that remote control button that shows you all your channels. Same idea. And here I can even reorder slides just by dragging a slide and placing it somewhere else if I want. And this slide is empty, so I don't really want this one. So I'm going to click on it and click delete. And now I only have that relevant one that has actually text on it. And I can click open, and there it is. Okay, there's other ways to add images to your whiteboard. Like you can literally just drag images from your computer onto the whiteboard, and they'll just plop in there. That's another way to do it. Any questions on the whiteboard? I'm just scratching the surface here to give you an overview, because we only have a limited amount of time. Is there any questions in the chat, Tammy, that I missed?
No.
When it said add to activity, what was that all about? When you
Oh, yeah.
found it,
Okay.
what is
Yeah.
that?
A good question. So this one, you mean copy to activity?
Yes, that one.
Okay. Yeah. So notice at the top right, it says playground update. And this is actually the name of my current activity. And an activity in the koala sense of the word is just a slide deck. So right now I have 3 slides, right? This one, and this one. All together, they form a slide deck, an activity. And the name of that activity is what you see up here, playground update. You do not have to manually save your activity every time you make a change. It saves on its own under this name, playground update here. You can create a new activity that's in a new slide deck, right? So I can click on this and it shows me all my activities. I have tons. You can see I have many, 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 many. You won't have that many to begin with. And I can switch to a different activity. Let's go, for example, to this one, for example. And this particular one has 5 slides, as you can see at the top. I can see them all actually by clicking on here. They're different from my previous activity, you see, right? There's this cool one over here. I'm going to open it. Right, so you can have multiple activity, and this is great for example, if you have multiple lesson templates, if you want to keep track of the progress with multiple students. So each student would have their own activity, for example. So each of your templates would have their own activity, of your lesson templates, and each of your students would have their own activity. Now, if you have a template that you want to use with a specific student, let's say, for example, I have lesson 1 template over here, and I want to use it with a specific student, instead of, well, using the template itself with my student, which might mess up the template. I don't want to do that. I can click on the 3 dots over here on top of the activity and say duplicate. And when I duplicate it, then I'm just going to use the copy of it with my student. I can rename it lesson 1 with Timmy or with whatever your student's name is, and use that instead, if that makes sense. Do you see what I mean? And I haven't answered the question yet, so I'm going to get to it in a second. Sorry. So it copies, and once it's copied, I can just use it with my student. Does that make sense for everybody? Is there any question while it's copying here?
There's no questions about that, but
Okay. So
can you
different question?
show can you show Tara how you give a student access to draw or write on the screen?
Sure. Well,
Student
first,
permissions.
right before, I just want to answer the question that was asked to me, which is, what happens when I go here to my slides? And I have this beautiful slide over here, and I click on copy to activity. This is a way to transfer one slide to a different activity, right? So it's a way to copy a slide from one slide deck to another slide deck. So if I click copy to activity, I can actually pick the activity to copy it to. So for example, I want to copy it to playground update, which was the previous one we were on. So I'm going to click here, and it's just going to transfer that slide, you see, to my other activity. That's what it does.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, that answer. Hopefully that's answer. Okay, so I think Tara was asking about permissions. So right now you can see on my student side, of course, they have fewer buttons than I have access to as a teacher. They don't have co-browser, they don't have playground, they don't have any of that stuff. But they do have drawing and erasing and all that. If you don't prevent them from drawing, they're going to be able to draw just like that, right? They might go crazy. They're probably going to go crazy. So you can disable their drawing entirely, their ability to interact completely. And the way you do this is above your student's camera, right here, where my mouse is, there's a little pen button. You can click on that, and now they can't draw and they can't do anything until you click on it again. Okay, so that's how you disable their permission to draw and to interact. All right, let's jump into the co-browser because we're already 15 minutes until the end here. Let's go ahead and click on co-browser. So this is going to be the second tool available to you. It's not the whiteboard, it's a different tool called co-browser. So I'm going to click on it, and this is what you'll see. You will see, and sorry it's small here, it's because I split my screen, but if you have it, normally you would see this. You would see it full screen like that. Same for your student, by the way, they'll see it full screen. But what you're seeing is a full-fledged browser. Let me close this. There we go. You see a full-fledged browser. It's got tabs, right? It's got the refresh button that we all know and love. It's got bookmarks. You can see the little star. It's got everything that your browser has, except it's inside of Koala. So a lot of people confuse this browser, the co-browser, with the browser that's on your computer, the normal browser. The difference is that if I click different tabs in, for example, in the co-browser, it shows on my student side, like my student always sees what I see. As long as I'm in the co-browser, my student always sees what I see. They even see my cursor moving. If I change tabs on my normal browser, well, not only do they don't see what I'm seeing, you can see they don't see it, but I don't even see them anymore. We don't even see their camera anymore. That's a sign that you've clicked on the wrong tab. Just stay on the Koala Go tab. And if you want to share a different tab, just click on the co-browser tab like that. There's a way to share your screen too. If you want to do that, it's a whole separate thing. I can show that. You can always share your screen if you want, but we would recommend using the co-browser because the co-browser has abilities and features that share screen doesn't. So for example, you can actually, of course, go to any website that you would normally go to. You can go to Google Drive if you have Google Slides. You can go to, if you use like any curriculum online, for example, ABridge Academy or Crystal Clear or any of those, you can always click on, you can always go to ABridge Academy and just go to the slides that they have over there and it'll work great. And for example, another really cool use case is WordWall. If you're familiar with WordWall, WordWall is a website that has lots of mini games around like certain topics. And for example, here I have one called Unjumble. That's a game where you have to put the words in order. And I'm going to show this. So right now on the teacher side, of course, I can control the browser. I can click on Start, and it shows me the game. And great, as a teacher, I can solve the game. So I have breakfast at 7. Great. But that's not very interesting. It's not great if, the point is that the student plays the game, not the teacher. So right now, if my student tries to control, notice that nothing happens. They try and nothing happens, right? That's because I haven't given them permission. If you look above their camera again, there's a button that just appeared that's like a cursor. And right now it's barred and it's red. You can see that. But if you click on it, it goes black. And now your student can actually control. So now my student, just like they would on their normal computer, the normal browser, can control the game or can play the game. What do you eat for lunch? That's great. And voila. So this, as opposed to, you might be used to Zoom remote control or those other features like that. And the difference is that there's no cursor fights because everybody has their own cursor. It supports touch screens. So if your student is on iPad, they can control. It's really nice. And it supports, it's super fast. It doesn't have the lag that you typically have with Zoom remote control. Like sometimes it's like really, really slow. So that's the shared browser. I haven't shown most of the features of shared browser, but at least you get the gist of it. Any questions before I move on to Playground? Again, if you want to chat with us, we'd be more than happy to give you a one-on-one training. Just reach out through the help chat and we'll come and help you out. But if you have questions now, I'll be happy to answer them. No questions? Okay. So shared browser, I'm going to go back to the whiteboard right now from the co-browser. And in order to do that, there's a big X at the top right. It says back to whiteboard. So I can click on this. Now I'm back to whiteboard. And from the whiteboard, I can go to Playground. So that's going to be that little scroll button at the bottom right. And I want to show this real fast. Just so you know, all these tools that I'm showing today, you do not have to use them all. You can just use the ones that actually that work for you. If you feel like you want to use the co-browser but not the whiteboard, totally fine. If you only use Playground, you can just use Playground. Or if you want to use all three, you can use all three. There's no requirement as to what you need to use. So I'm going to go and jump to Playground. It's going to be that little squirrel button at the bottom right. I think it's a chipmunk actually on certain systems, especially on Mac. But on certain other systems, it's actually actually, you know what? Let me show you a different playground here so you can really see what the experience that you would see. So I'm going to say new playground, creating a new activity, and it's going to load a new playground for me. And this is what you'll see the first time. You will see two avatars parachuting their way down to like a snowy world, just like that. As a matter of fact, if you're on your own, you'll see only one avatar. If you're with students, you will see avatars falling from the sky, just like that. And one of the avatars, of course, is mine as a teacher here. It's going to be the one in the center of my screen. The other one is my student. Even says Ben student at the top there. Now, if you don't like your avatar, you can actually customize it. And in order to do this, you can click on that little button at the bottom, sort of the middle. It's like a girl with a pencil. Click on that. Now you have the ability to change your skin tone, your makeup, your eyes, your hair, your clothing, et cetera, et cetera. So there's all this. I think a lot of teachers, especially ESL teachers, like to spend a little bit of time talking about clothing and colors and stuff like that because it's actually a fun exercise. So your student can do the same. It's the same button at the bottom. They can change their avatar if they want. Now, what can I do in Playground and why is this irrelevant at all? Playground is a place where it's a gamified classroom. So of course, you know, I can move around in Playground. That's the first thing. In order to move, you can just point your cursor. Notice that there's like a red dot following my mouse. That's indicating to me that when I click, that's where my avatar is going to go. So if I click over here on this snow area at the top, my avatar is just going to walk there. If I click on the snowman or near the snowman, my avatar is going to go to the snowman. If I click to my student, my avatar is going to go to my student. I can also hold left click down and move my mouse as I do so. And my avatar will just follow the cursor, the red dot, just like a cat following a laser pointer. Okay. What else can I do in Playground? Well, I can build things. And that's where it gets interesting, I think. If you click on this button, add objects, images, or stickies, you'll have options to, I don't know if it's too small or not. Let me zoom in a little bit. Sorry. Here we go. And you'll have options to build different things. For example, we can add blocks to this classroom. Let's say, for example, I want to add a new wall here that I want to use to do, I don't know, review of previous exercises that we did last week. And I want a specific wall for that. I don't want to use any of the walls that I already have. So I'm going to click on blocks. I'm going to click on, for example, I want it to be made out of stone. So I'm going to click the stone material over here. And now when I drag my mouse, there's a little ghost box that appears. I can just click to place the blocks. It's really point and click. The name of the game is like point and click, like that. So I'm going to add a new layer over here. Maybe I'll add a third layer as well to make it a little bit taller. And let's say I made a mistake. I click here and I put a block I didn't want to put. Actually, I put 3 here. You can click the shovel button, obviously, right? Shovel to remove blocks. It's not obvious at all. And then click on the block that you want to remove. And I think there was one in the back of the wall over here. And notice that I'm changing my view like that by holding right click down and moving my mouse as I hold right click down allows me to change my view. I can even use the scroll wheel to zoom in and zoom out. Great, now we have a cool wall. And then on this wall, I want to put something interesting. So I'm going to go to add blocks, objects, images, or stickies, this button. Go to my image library. And here I have tons of little images that I uploaded in the past. You can upload more by clicking select images over here if you have more. Here I have a worksheet. So I'm going to click on my worksheet. And I'm going to go ahead and place it in the world over here. And bam, I got my worksheet in my classroom. Now it's tiny and like, unless you're an ant, you can't really read this at all. So I can click on it and I can make it bigger by clicking on the size button here, the plus. And it's a little bit bigger, but still really small, can't read it. So at this point, what you can do is there's 2 ways. You can we have a button here that's called focus tool. This is, I'll show what this does, but I'll give you a situation that's interesting. You're with your student in playground, and your student is like not listening to you, and they're like running away, and they're building things. They're building a room, or they're building a spaceship somewhere, and you want them to pay attention to this sheet. So what you can do is you can click on focus tool, and then go ahead and click on the sheet. And now what this does is it pulls your student and your focus on the sheet. Just like on the whiteboard, for example, like now you're at the center of everybody's screen is going to be that sheet. Now, of course, you can zoom in if you want, just by using the scroll wheel. And you can use these buttons as well if you prefer. You can also like pan left, right, up, down if you want to recenter. Or hold right click down, move your mouse as you do so. That allows you to recenter that sheet. Remember that your student sees what you're seeing. So if you move to the left, it'll also move to the left for them. And now I can draw, for example, like we can open the draw tool and select different color. Maybe we want to highlight. So I'm going to click color and click the highlight, the transparent version of the red over here. And now we can highlight things. Shark, great. Or Denmark, marmalade. I don't know what I'm doing. Not doing anything interesting here, but you get the idea. At any point, I can go back to free roaming to allowing my student to continue working on the spaceship or whatever we were doing. Maybe we were playing hide and seek. You can click on return to free roaming, and now we're back to where we were. Okay, again, I just scratched the surface of Playground. There's many, many more things you can do. You can add sticky notes. You can go into first person view, which is my favorite view, by clicking on the eye over here. If you want me to expand on that, I can. I don't want to bombard you with too much information, so I'm trying to keep it kind of surface level for now and let you explore the rest. Any questions for me? Been talking a lot, and we have 1 more minute before I'm sure people will want to leave.
I have a question.
Yes.
Obviously, this is just my very first glimpse of all of this. So if I had students that maybe I worked with in person, but then I let them have access to this when they're at home practicing over the week, I can put things in there that they would do. Is that how that works?
At the moment, until we're working on it, by the way, but at the moment you can't have them go into the playground unless you're there.
Okay.
You could open your room and just have them join and let them play while you're gone. That's fine, but it's not ideal. So we're working on a way for you to give them homework through like asynchronous homework where you don't have to be there for them to be in the playground and do the homework or whatever. So that's something that's coming up. For now, this is really meant for to get like live one-on-one tutoring, or not one-on-one, live tutoring, even with many students. Hopefully that answers the question. Sorry.
I have a question.
Yep.
So I am a virtual teacher, so I plan on using this with like 2 to 4 students.
Yep.
So for the playground, I'm just trying to process it. So I use Zoom every day, share my screen, use the whiteboard, the annotation tools. For the playground, would this just be more for fun?
It's a good question.
I'm trying to process how I would use a playground and still like teach my lesson.
Definitely. I think that the typical life cycle that we see when it comes to teachers that get started with Koala is that they first don't use playground at all. They go straight to whiteboard or the co-browser. The co-browser actually has annotation as well. I haven't showed this, but you can annotate over the co-browser. Or maybe they'll share their screen, whatever they do. They don't use playground at all. But at some point, they're going to want to reward their student with a little bit of playtime maybe at the end, if there's time. Maybe they give 2 or 3 minutes at the end. And usually that's actually a really great tactic to keep your students coming and keep them excited about coming back next time. So the first time around, you'll probably just go into playground and you won't do very much. Maybe you'll just change your avatar, run around a little bit. Maybe you'll play hide and seek. The kid will love it. I mean, like 9 out of 10, they're going to be fans. But again, first time around is probably going to be reward, a little bit of fun, bonding time, and making sure they're excited about coming next time. But the more you use Playground, I think what you'll realize is that you can actually teach in here. And we're adding tools every 2 weeks for you to be able to teach in Playground because we know that's a big use case. And now we have teachers that actually do half in the whiteboard, half in playground teaching. Now, you don't have to do this right off the bat, and you probably won't, and that's okay. You can build your way to it. If that's even relevant for you. Some kids don't even want that, but most kids will want that. What I think the power of playground is that it allows the student to forget they're in a class. While they're still in the class. I mean, you can focus your attention on worksheets, right? You can focus your attention on an exercise that you put together with sticky notes or whatnot. So it is a classroom. Don't get me wrong, but because the student is in this world and it's 3D and they have an avatar and they can build things, and I even showed this, but there's like a little gem store. So if you go to home and decor over here, you'll notice that we have like different categories of items that they can place in the playground to customize it. You can place them as well. For example, in the space category here, we have like different things, robots and telescopes and different things. So there's all that I think keeps it exciting. But you know, I hopefully answered the question right now, but really, I think you'll adopt it at your own pace if you adopt it at all, and it's not a big deal if you don't.
No, that's perfect. Thank you. Because the first two tools, I'm tech savvy enough, confident enough, like I can use those, and then I'll just kind of slowly dive in the playground and start off using it as a reward. That's
absolutely, and that's totally acceptable.
Okay.
Yeah, and hopefully, like, I mean, playground often is intimidating for people, and I can understand why, especially at first. But if you do like, take it slowly, and at first you just sit and do nothing, and let the student do whatever they want, that's totally fine to begin with. Okay, any other questions?
Yeah, I have a question.
Yeah, please.
It's actually not about the playground. Is that okay?
Yep, absolutely. It could be about anything.
Yeah. Okay, so I watched a video, one of your how-to videos, and one of the founders was sharing about your company and what you do. And he said something about you guys can help us promote our business globally outside of China, and I didn't know how that worked.
So we have if you click on the 3 lines at the top right, we have an option called Promote My Class. If you click on this, well, sorry, this is not the great view, but if you click on this, it'll allow you to, here we go. It'll allow you to essentially put your class on a website that we have called learnwithkoala.com. Remember, we have Teach with Koala. We also have Learn with Koala. And on Learn with Koala, you can you can have your class listed here. It's a little bit like OutSchool, if you're familiar with OutSchool. And we will promote your class if you choose to do so. So here, if you click Explore Classes, you'll see that we have tons of different options from other teachers that sell their classes on this.
Okay.
So that's what Promote My Class does. Yeah.
Okay. Very cool. Thank you.
Yep. Any other questions? It could be about
Tara
anything.
wants to know if she meets with most students in person, is there anything here she would use?
Well,
anything
you can
in Koala?
Yeah. So in person, I mean, it really depends on what you teach and what material you use to teach. But you can really use anything on this. Like, I don't know if you like to use the whiteboard to draw. If you playground could be a really fun thing to do in person as well. I know we have lots of teachers that they use playground in person. Like they'll throw their student playground and maybe they have a game or something. We have a marketplace. If you click on, if you go to teachwithkoala.com, at the top is marketplace.
It's in the chat.
Oh, you already put it there? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Thank you. And if you select playground, for example, as a format, we have tons of different activities that were created by teachers that you can use. Some are free, some aren't, but you can use it with your student. And they're really great. Like there's a coloring activity here for playground. There's like escape rooms that were created by teachers, and they're all really talented people. There's an immersive ESL dream home. So this is an entire home with like each, like the kitchen and the bathroom and whatever. And each room has all of its items. It's pretty insane what she did, teacher Emily here. She just went nuts with like the different parts of the house. So you can do that as in person. I would do that if I was an ESL student. Here says even like a whole trash thing where you can put different things in different bins and whatnot. So this is really fun. I don't know. I could go on forever here. I don't want to hijack other questions, but does that answer the question? If is there any other question? On any-
Yes.
Yes, please.
How to integrate Koala into your website or a link embedded?
So you might be able to actually. I think you could just probably just embed the student invite link. So you grab your student invitation like this one, right? You can just like probably put it in an iframe in on your website. I've never done this, but I'm sure it would work. So you grab the student link, right? And you put it in an iframe on your website, and now students can join. But this might not be ideal because you probably only want to share the link with your students, right? You don't necessarily want to share with like anybody out there. Or I could be wrong too. I don't know. It's not there's no security concern because you can always cancel the request to join, but it might be just better to just share it with people with your teachers, your students. I don't know. Does that answer that question? I don't know. I'll stop sharing my screen here.
So Ben, it seems like it's kind of winding down. So I wanted to ask you, when I had a bunch of stuff in 3D Koala.
Yep.
I remember a long time ago, they said that you all would transfer some stuff. So what
Some of your classrooms. Yeah.
So
yeah.
Or activities that I bought.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
What do I do for that?
Have you reached out through the help chat already to do that?
I haven't done anything. So I should just reach out through help chat.
Yeah.
And y'all are you'll transfer 3 of them, or what was the deal?
I forget what we had said, but let's chat about it in the help chat.
Okay,
I have to talk to Xavier, my co-founder, and see what I forget what the deal was. That's a good question.
Drop that for now, and then I'll do it through help.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah. That's a good question. Any other questions? Yes, I think Jing, you have your hand up.
Yeah. Yes, I have a question. So yes, so I have my own website. So how do I embed your website to my website, so that way, student and teacher, they can click the link, and the link can direct them to your platform.
So you want
just a link?
So you want them to be able to join your classroom, or you want them just to go to classroom, to Koala?
I mean, like, because I have my own website. So I mean, like, teacher and students, they just they see the website. I guess it's just a link, right? Embed to my website and click the link.
Yeah, absolutely. So in either case, either you embed like maybe teachwithkoala.com, or you can embed your student link invite directly. I think that should work fine. Yeah, we can help you with that too, Jing, if you want. Yeah.
Okay, so when after this recording, right?
Yeah. Feel free to chat with us in the help chat. You can see what we can do about that.
Sure.
It's a good question. Right. I don't think we've had this request before, so this is going to be an interesting one. Any other questions? Sim, go ahead,
how do we sign up for the one-on-one training?
Just literally just in the help chat, say, I would like to have one-on-one training, and somebody will come and help you. Yeah.
Okay.
And it's probably going to be like, it could be anytime you want, or it could be right away.
Okay.
Yeah. Good question. Any other questions? Okay. Well, this was really fun. Thank you all for joining. So again, like we can help you through the help chat. You can reach out to us through also email if you want. Can I wait here for a little help? Yeah, of course, Jing. I can help you after. Yeah, for sure. Sorry. And then I'm going to put my email in here, so you can also reach out to me directly if you want with any inquiry that you might have, if you feel more comfortable to do so. So it's ben@teachwithkoala.com. Other than that, it was a pleasure. We have, again, I really brushed the surface. So there's a lot that I haven't really covered, but more than happy to, of course, show you more in depth in one-on-one. Cool. All right. Well, thank you all for joining, and I hope to see you around soon. Take care. Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, Jing, I'm gonna stay around. Yep.
Yeah, I think you are still recording. Is that okay?
I can stop the recording. Here we go.
Okay.
Sorry. Yeah.